There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment. And here, we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Kevin McDonald. Of course, you knew that. And Rochelle's off today because she is traveling from Utah to Colorado for family reasons. And we got a great guest for you today. I got to tell you this story, though, first of all, before we begin. In 2003, when I started doing Positive Talk on KKNW 1150 AM in Seattle, and they had 5 stations there, and they're all, kind of close together. And one of the other hosts of one of the other stations, he pulled me aside and he said, "You're not saying your name enough." And I said, "Well, what do you mean? I'm not saying my." He said, "No, you need to say your name more." And I said, "But they know who I am." And he said, "No, you've got to understand." And he had a very deep voice. And he goes, "It's all about branding." And I said, "Branding? What's that?" I had no idea. And he said, "Branding is letting people know who you are, because until they find out who you are, they don't know what you're doing or why you're doing what you're doing. So you have to brand all of it to make it all work." And I was like, wow. You're pretty smart, I gotta say. And but that was, and that now has become, now this is back in 2003. That now has become a big deal. It's a thing. And we've got a great guest for you today. His name is Rich Kozak, and he is a branding expert. He is a author. He is a coach. He is a speaker. He is a publisher. He does all of those things. I don't know how he has all the time. All I do is do this, and that's all the time I got. But Rich, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Kevin, I am fantastic. And thank you for the opportunity to talk about one of everybody's not favorite subjects, branding. They're intimidated by it. They don't understand it. They don't trust it. It's tricky. They don't want to become something they're not, but they know they need it, or don't they? It's like, and we're going to eliminate all that today. I'm going to eliminate it in 2 minutes or less. And then when you have clarity, you're going to thank Mr. Kevin McDonald for having me on here. He and I are going to create some things today you've never heard of, and it'll bless your business and probably your life. So stay tuned.
One of the things, Rich, that I think a lot of people are worried about, and I'm sure you've heard of this, imposter syndrome. You're smiling, which means that imposter syndrome is when you are trying to do something, but you don't think that you're good enough to be able to do the thing that you're trying to do, and so you pull back because you feel like you're an imposter if you stand up and sing your praises at the highest level. Is that kind of a thing?
Well, it is very common, and often it's not. Well, it can be a self-worth issue. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. Other people are better than I am. Or it could be, I just got started and there's other people that know so much more. How can I ever measure up to them? So I kind of need to look like them. But when I try to look like them, I feel like I'm faking it. Imposter syndrome. So it could be one of the two, but it is really common. And here's the kindness. It's not necessary. We have the solution on this podcast. So listen up.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Now, you have been doing this. Tell us a little bit about your background and where and what you've been doing. What have you been doing in the short few years that you've been on the planet?
I'm going to start with the end in mind. I'm sorry. Thank you for that. In the last 10 years, which is the period during which I've focused only on individuals. In the last 10 years, we have been evolving individual often personal brands like a solopreneur, but sometimes it's the founder of a company, but they're still the champion of the company. So evolving individuals' brands with deep clarity because it's missing and people don't feel it when the brand speaks. So we evolve the brand so that the person who's the champion of the brand gets credit for the higher level impacts they are ready to make. But if they don't get credit and people don't perceive they're capable of making, they may fall flat and not be successful. So we've been working for the last 10 years with individuals, evolving individuals' brands with deep clarity, which is often missing, longevity, so they can do what they love for another decade or more, maybe more decades, and divine purpose. And I don't mean to throw that in there as a kind of, oh yeah, and we're all here. Look, many of the people are really good at what they do, but they know there's more. Well, look, we're all made by the same creator, and we have unlimited power. We just get in our own way and hold back. And we have gifts. We all have the same opportunity to make the most significant impact on those people or the world we touch with the gifts we've been given. We get to get on with that, but we get in our own way. We get in fear. We get in self-doubt. Somebody tells us we're not good enough, or somebody says, whatever. And then we don't. So it's time to do it. And it's time to have your moment. Like Kevin show's introduction is powerful. It is. There comes a moment when it's time for you to step into why you're here, the impact you get to make. So, let's give you the solution. I said, you're going to get it in this podcast about imposter syndrome. If you close your eyes and ask your heart, what impacts do I really see myself making on other people? Hey, if you play a violin, maybe it's you soothe their soul. If you write, maybe it's people get clarity. No matter what you do, what impacts do you clearly see having on others and you really want to? When you're in that heart space, it's all you. There is no imposter syndrome. When you speak from that space, you're you. There's no imposter syndrome. And no one else can speak from your space. Cool. I have the Bible app on my phone. But I have it turned off because I'm on recording. But sometimes it sends alleluias out at the most important moments. I was hoping it would do one right there. But seriously, and I don't even know you, but I love you. You're a human being. You are gifted. You are all powerful, just like all of us. And we get to step into what we get to do. So that's the divine purpose part. We can use the process, the steps, and this is probably strange talk to you, the steps of branding. Wait a minute, what steps? Well, branding is steps, but nobody talks about it. It's just you do these things right, and it comes out right. That's it. But nobody tells you that. Nobody teaches that. I've been teaching for decades. Matter of fact, Kevin, I'm in my 49th year doing this, and I'm not done. I'm not stopping. I feel like you feel like I get to do this work. This is what my journey prepared me for. So, man, I encourage you to close your eyes and think about the impacts. And when you let your desire for impacts, that others learn something they didn't know, that others hear something about themselves that no one's ever told them, that you help people release something that's holding them back. You help people gain a skill they need or want. Whatever you do, integrate software, define the next generation of diversity, equity, inclusion language for law firms, produce uniforms that help people who work in the dark not get killed. These are all people that have been my clients. And it doesn't matter what you do. You do it to make an impact on others' lives. You come from there.
Rich, I've got to ask you, because there are so many of us that at one point, I believe that everybody says this to themselves at one point in time. Okay, what I've been doing is all right, but why am I really here? What impact can I really honestly make in the world? Because this ain't it. And I had that conversation with myself when I was 42 and I was a district sales manager. It was like, okay. This is pretty cool, but why am I really here? What am I really here to do to contribute to the planet and to make it a better place? And why do so many people who say that and then go, no, I can't do that. And that I don't make you can't make any money doing that. You can't do this, you can't do that. So I'm just gonna go do what I'm doing. And then maybe when I retire and when I'm 65 or now it's what is it? 68 to almost 70.
It depends on the math. Yeah.
Now, maybe when I retire, then I'll be free to be able to do things like that. And it's like, no, you're wasting it. That's not why you're here.
I'm right with you, and it's a heartbreak. There is no such thing as retirement. Maybe for a horse that's limping, okay, and can't run the track anymore. So you put it out to pasture, and but for us, there's always more. We've given unlimited power. There's always more. You can go volunteer at you're having a bad day and you're feeling sorry for yourself, go to a veterans hospital. You'll come out pumped up. Okay. You'll come out feeling, man, oh, am I lucky? Okay. I mean, come on. Maybe it's a result of my living in such an uplifting and environment. The people that find me, the people that I surround myself with, are people that are there's more people. They're the ones that you don't even look at the empty part of the glass. They're only looking at the full part. And they know that we create in our lives what we think, and so what we can imagine we can do, and there is no holding back. And the more we, that scenario painted where people say like, well, maybe someday, let's give that a name. And I'll be snarky. It's living on Someday Isle. And I know because I did it. And I'm going to tell you, the drinks are cool. The music is, I love the music. That's cool. And you get into that kind of hypnotic thing. Yeah. Someday out, you can be there for years in complacency, self-satisfied with whatever. Now I'm not going to make fun of people who are diligently putting food on the table, and they have to have jobs, and the jobs they have they don't like, but they're doing it because there's nothing. We're not here to be judgmental and critical. It's just at the same time you're doing that job, you can be closing. Well, after you finish, after 5 o'clock, you can close your eyes. Sorry. Yeah, you're fired. Okay. Sorry. Okay. You can close your eyes and picture what it's like when you are doing what you lose track of time doing. What is that? It's one of the ways God shows us what we're made for. Part of my life, I played violin, lots of different kinds. And there were times when we worked all day long on writing, composing, rehearsing, getting ready to go in the studio. And we didn't know what time it was. It was another world. It was the liberating of creativity, and creativity is what makes us human. So if you are squashing your own creativity or somebody is squashing it for you, you got to stop that, because the liberating creativity is what brings impact, and what brings change, and what brings fulfillment to life. And so we all get to use our creativity to solve problems, to overcome, scenarios that got thrown at us, or to create things that never existed, or to shape things or make them better, or touch other people's lives. So close your eyes and ask yourself, what would you love to be doing, or what impacts you could make on a certain kind of person, and you really want to. May I tell you a story?
You may tell me too.
after I left the ad agency and I was saying I don't do branding anymore, I started getting involved in self-development work. And for about 3.5 years, I was a part of Lisa Nichols' Motivating the Teen Spirit program. It's a emotional healthiness program for teenagers where you fill a room with all different kinds of teenagers and they're looking at each other because they all probably, their parents probably brought them and they had to be there, and they're looking at each other like, I hate you. I would never talk to someone like you. Oh, I am. And at the end of the day, they're like best friends. And their parents come back to pick up the snarky hood covered teen that they brought that morning, and the hood's gone. And the teen is saying, Mom and Dad, I just want to thank you for what you've contributed to my, and they're like, what happened to Bobby? Okay. So it was amazing work. Okay. Lisa Nichols, Motivating the Teen Spirit. It's what put her on, got her invited to the Transformational Leadership Council as the youngest person on the council, Bob Proctor and the other people. But one of the things that became clear is you get to, you can take yourself out with negative self-talk, but you can also push a button and shift it to positive self-talk. You have that
Yep.
power. And she was teaching that to teenagers at a very, angst-filled part of phase of their life. And I thought I was in there to help the teenagers. I did more. I think I did as much growing as they did. We need to stay open and ask ourselves, what we'd like to do, what would make us lose track of time. One of those hints, like one of the results from my being with Lisa, I created a curriculum of my own called Empowered Youth Day. And the very beginning was all these pictures on the screen of all these different things in life, people water skiing, people playing chess, riding horses, playing boats, and all these things, math problems, people, in order for these teenagers to look and go like, ooh, that's kind of cool. Sometimes your life work will start with an urge, with a prompting. Follow them. Oh, that looks pretty interesting. Take action on that. Learn about it. Get into it. Sometimes it turns into a world-changing experience. Both of my sons are Eagle Scouts, and so I went through this process of sending requests for letters to people. One of the Eagle Scouts is Steven Spielberg, and Steven Spielberg's letter that he sends to Eagle Scouts says, hey, when I was in scouting, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was looking at merit badges, and there's this merit badge called movie making. Are you kidding me? Yeah. And so it's like, it was a yearning. It was like, ooh, I wonder what that's about. Steven Spielberg. It might start with a yearning. It might start in your 40s, in your 60s.
Yep.
I have a client who met me at a mastermind, and I think when we met, he was 81. And he said, I'm not done. I just don't know where it goes from here.
Yeah.
And he's filled with energy. He's also from Alabama. And that same day when I met him, he goes, I'm going to do his voice. When you know, Rich, he calls me Rich. I'm a diphthong to him. Rich, I think I played the 3 best sets of tennis I've ever played in my life this morning. And we beat the Flat Bellies. Okay. He's 82. Look, there's more. Okay. And that's Lou Vickery. He used to pitch for the New York Yankees. He's written 25 books. He's not stopping. He is the voice of generational wisdom. We're building a YouTube channel for him right now. Look him up. Louvickery. Lou Vickery. He's probably at 90 episodes already. It's like, it's crazy. His story. Come on, man. I got a great story for you today. It's like your energy and where your heart loves to live will fill your life with fulfillment. So follow those yearnings. And, you and I didn't talk about this beforehand, but I will just put it in my terms. One of the major turning points in my life that I didn't expect. I made a decision, and I won't go into the story, but I made a decision as I watched 25,000 people behaving, and I'm like, you know what? And I realized I had the same problem that I was saying. It will be wonderful that if, people that have their faith over here and their business over here, and they're not really combining the two. And I'm like, oh my God, that's me. I made a decision to restart my faith as a new Christian. Now, what the heck does that mean? I wasn't even sure what it meant when I said it, but I said, I'm going to start like I'm a brand new Christian, and I'm going to read the word every morning. I'm going to ask God, I'm going to say, God, I'm reading your word. Help land on my heart what you want me to hear. That's my story. You'll have your story. But I'm telling you, if you choose to do that, your life will shift. And it's amazing. We're here for a reason. And the book I read every morning says, man makes plans, but, God kind of creates the results. It's like we think we're in control. Just I'm encouraging you to ask for God's will in choosing, in making your choices, in your relationships that work, in your health, in your integrity, in your stewarding your savings future, whatever important piece of life you're focused on at the time. Ask for God's will. It makes a difference. And you might find that stymied feeling of, I don't know what I don't know what impact I want to make, and I don't want to think about it right now, or maybe someday I'll figure it out. I implore you not to wait. I implore you just to start asking and start opening yourself to hints.
Well, then sometimes they're not hints. Sometimes they are major epiphanies that happen to you, because I'm willing to tell you that there are so many people, and I think it's our duty to ourselves, and it's our responsibility to become the best that we can be at whatever it is that turns. If being a diesel mechanic makes you just crazy happy, then be the best damn diesel mechanic you can be.
We need them.
Yeah, we surely do.
I'm glad they do what they do, because I do what I do, and it has nothing to do with that.
But if you are passionate about something and you really want to do it and you don't, then you are you're exercising your free will to do something that you don't want to do, that against your own will. If that makes any sense? Because you're really best served by listening and being open to what presents itself, if it's in line with what you really believe to be in your best interest. Do you agree with that?
Kevin, you just brought back a very vivid memory. A dear friend of mine that I had worked diligently with creating that Empowered Youth Foundation curriculum I talked about. When I explained to him that I don't do branding anymore, he looked at me one day and he said, you're so good at it that for you not to do it and not to share it and to just put it in the background, I think you're spitting in God's eye. It landed on me like that too. Okay. It's like, what a wake up call.
Well, yeah, I understand that. And so what was your response? Did you say, oh, I get it now?
I'm rarely quiet. I'm rarely unspoken. I usually have things to say.
Of course you do.
I think I was stunningly silent and pensive in the moment. A deep, pensive consideration of, if sometimes friends see what we don't. And here was this man that I really admired and really knew me well, saying that to me kind of matter of factly, not finger wagging or not judgmentally, but matter of factly. And it made me think. And and you just reminded me of it. And I share it with you. You're listening to this. Please don't be doing that. If you have a gift, if you are compelled to do something, if you know that you could touch people's lives with some skill or gift or art or process or, understanding or coaching that you can do, step into it.
It's vital because your whole life has been tailored to become the person that you are destined to be. And if you refuse to accept that and say yes to life, and as things come up, if you say, oh no, I can't do that, but if it feels right, then it probably is right, and you should follow it as best you can, because isn't that where the true impact comes from, is when you are leading your life in a manner, in a way that you are really working to be kind to other people, to be of service to other people, to recognize that we all have an impact, and it can be a positive impact rather than a negative impact. That's one of the premises of the show, is that we all come from the same place. We all come from the same God. And if we all work together, we can create an amazing planet, which is, by the way, in the Bible, it does say that we are stewards of this particular place, and it is our responsibility to take care of it. And we can do all those things. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Life is a team sport. We're not meant to be here and do this alone. We're meant to help each other. We're meant to lift each other up. The book I read every morning says we're here for two reasons, and everything else is man-made. Number one is to share love. And there's a lot of ways to share love. Cooking is a way to share love. Being kind is a way to share love. Helping a person in need is a way to share love. Listening. There's so many ways to share love, but it's to share love, and the other is to praise God. If we don't get those two right, we have to go back to number one and work on getting the love right. Yeah, I do agree.
You're a pretty remarkable man, I do have to say. And by the way, we're talking with Rich Kozak, and go to his website, which is branding. Let's see, hold on just a second.
It's RichBrands.
RichBrands.org and
.org. Don't get that wrong, because if you put .com, you'll end up in Nigeria at a trading company, and they won't sell it to you. And I didn't want to buy it anyway. But it's richbrands.org.
And by the way, Rich, I got to tell you, we've blown through the first. It happens occasionally when I'm talking to somebody that is really impactful and can positively impact not only myself, but everyone who's listening to this. So I blew past the break. So we'll have to probably add that in at one point. But I do need to take our halftime break because they make me. But Rich Kozak is with us, and when we come back, we're going to talk about impact branding, how his work, because he's got a book out, and he speaks around a lot, and he is really passionate about this topic and this subject because he's really good at it and has been doing it for, I don't know, since you were 5, so 41 years. That would be since you were 5. That's about right.
25. Been doing it for 49 years.
Well, and the thing is, by the way, young man, you look very young, you look very fit, and you're going to be here for a long time because that's what you're called to do.
Praise God.
You,
From your lips to his ears. Yeah.
yes, indeed. Yes,
Let's take a break.
and also you were married for a long time, or are married for a long
I
time.
am 49 years and 54 Valentine's days. We're counting.
I didn't figure that out. I was married for 24 years. It was the best 6 months of my life. Hey, we'll be right back right after this.
All right.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. And Rochelle is out today. She's traveling. I wish she was here, though, because she would really, truly enjoy this conversation we're having with Rich Kozak, because he is in the business, and his passion, self-described passion, and what he does is he helps other people discover their passion, their branding, so that they can live the life that they were destined to live before they decided they couldn't. And it's an important aspect of all of our lives, because what you do is you help people realize their potential, that they may not even understand that potential exists until you help them through it. Am I wrong in that?
You're absolutely right. Even strangers, maybe you've had this happen on old days on a bus or on a plane, where you have a conversation and you're being candid because you figure you'd never see the person again, and they say something that touches your heart, or they tell you something about yourself, or make a reflection of some story you just told them, and what a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Like, we come into each other's lives for a moment, for a period, or for a lifetime. And yeah, that's one of those times you just say, praise God, because that's God's hand. We're going to talk about impact-driven branding. But before we do, because I don't want it to sound like a commercial, may I do what I promised in less than 2 minutes? I'm going to clarify in the mind of anyone listening to this the word brand and the word branding for your personal brand, so that you are never confused, never intimidated, never put off again, ever. Ready?
Yep.
Brand. I'm talking about your personal brand. You might know what it is, and you could tell me in 30 seconds or 3 minutes or 10 minutes. It doesn't matter what you say. It's not what you say. It's not even what you think it is. It is the perception in the mind of those individuals whom you most want to impact with your business, your work, your career, your calling. It's the perception. Write this down. Your brand is the perception in the mind of the most important target audiences that you can clearly see impacting and really want to impact. It's that perception that is your brand. Nothing else. It's not colors. It's not however you want to describe it. It's not, it's named for the Greek horse from mythology. No. I really had somebody come to me one day and I'm like, you just need to stop. but seriously, And so if your brand is the perception in the mind of your most important target audiences, whom you clearly see impacting and really want to impact, and it is, then branding is everything you choose to do, because none of us have the time and money to do it all, that shape a consistent perception in those minds, the minds of those whom you most want to impact and really want to, that you clearly see impact and you really want to. It's all the things that branding is, all the things you get to do that consistently shape that perception. They shape a consistent perception. It can't be this way today and this way tomorrow. It's consistent, because that's where the trust comes from. And so when you realize your brand is that, now it might be you personally, your name, or it might be an entity that you created. And so you're the founder of the brand, but you're also an individual. So maybe you have both those. It's okay. One or both, it doesn't matter. It's the brand is the perception in the minds of those you most care about impacting. Those are the ones that all your branding work is directed at shaping their perception. Let's not worry about or spend money anybody, 50,000 miles away who loves to pet your ass, because it doesn't matter. We only want to impact the perception of those we most want to impact. So with that said, let's say you're in one of two buckets. You did something for years and you're done. Now you're going to do something you love, but you don't have an identity. You don't have a brand in that area. So you need a brand. Or you've done something for 30 years and you're known for it, but you're not done. And you want to take it to higher levels. You want to make different kinds of impact. You want to use the results to make new kinds of impact. But wait, you've been doing something for 30 years. So you're known. The perception of you, before you learned that your brand is the perception of you is established. And you're going to make different impacts now. You're going to make higher level impact. I'm going to ask you a question. I've never done this before. I'm going to ask you, wouldn't it be necessary to evolve the perception so that they perceive you as the one that will make those impacts? Because they perceive you the way they have perceived you.
Mm-hmm.
Taking it to another level, might you not need to evolve the perception so that they know you're the one to welcome in? You're the one that can really help them. You're the one that they clearly envision making those impacts because of the way they perceive you now. So if you've been doing something for 20 or 30 years or 10 years and you want to take it higher, you're going to need to evolve the perception, to clear the deck, to roll out the red carpet, to have them welcome you to make those new higher level impacts. Or if you've never done it before, you're going to need to bake clarity into who you are and what makes you different and unique before you even allow your brand to open its mouth, so that when you do open its mouth, you get credit for what makes you outstanding. You don't create confusion. You don't create misinformation. And you attract like a magnet when you say, look, here's what I see for you, and paint a picture with clarity of what you see for those target audiences, and they know you see more for them than they even do. These are the things that make brands come alive. And when brands define in language who they are and create the language, the characteristics that are the top 10 on first impression, the categories of expertise of how you say what you're expert at in such a unique way that there's no competition. Is that possible? Yeah. So you do it every day. Your brand comes alive, and most brands fall flat. Like, oh, what do you do? I do this. Oh, that's nice. That's fall flat. Oh. Come alive is, whoa, wow, listen, I gotta go, but can I have your card? I mean, there's an energy transfer.
Mhm.
And it doesn't come from, wearing a jumping jack flash costume, or or some kind of superhero costume. It comes from them feeling energy from your words and your heart, what you say you do and why you do it. And it attracts them because it's been designed to shape their perception. But
Now,
it's
Rich, I want
designed
to
based
ask
on you. It's crazy good.
exactly, but I know I want to bring this to you and because I would love your opinion. You're now my coach, and we're talking about
Mm.
this. What I do and what I've always done is I try and create, excuse me, strike that. I create a dynamic space for people to come and feel comfortable and to provide my audience with great information that can benefit them and their lives to a huge degree. Now, it's not, I don't get to choose who listens to it. That's not my job. My job is to bring the best possible people and use my skills to interview them and to keep the audience engaged and to make everybody feel involved in the conversation. And then I let the universe, God, however you want to describe it, they handle the rest because that's their job. It's not my job. My job is to have a conversation with Rich Kozak and to make people think around what Rich says because it is vital for most people if you want to learn your branding. This is information that, by the way, people charge for this information, and it is being given out free because you're a good guy, and I'm this is what we do. And so does that make any sense? And so
It
my
does make
branding
sense
is
that there's some opportunities to change the language, to make the energy more powerful. It's not just sharing information. It's you create a space where experienced professionals open their hearts and share their golden nuggets of what they know and their passion for it in ways that act as a catalyst for those people that listen to you, and catalyzes the reaction in them to want to do the same thing, catalyzes the reaction in them, triggers their desire to go higher, triggers their desire to get off the island, even though the music is so cool.
and the margaritas aren't bad
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, absolutely. And I mean, yeah. So absolutely, you know what you do, and you know that God's hand is in it, and you know what your job is, and you know you're good at getting the right guests and asking them good questions so they share from their heart, from their passion, and from their experience, because now your audience benefits vicariously from that experience and that passion and what they tell. And they're also inspired by the fact that people are talking from their heart about what
and
they do.
I'll even take it one step further. There are people in our audience who have been thinking about how to rebrand themselves or to brand themselves all day. And they're going to listen to this show and they're going to recognize that you have the ability to help them get to where they're looking to be. And it's all by, none of it's a coincidence. I don't know how they do this, and it just amazes me, but it's not a coincidence at all because I've had this happen for the last 20 years. Is that I'll be talking about a topic and somebody will call in on the radio station and they'll say, I was just tuning the dial and I stopped at your station because of what you were saying and the conversation you were having. And I've been thinking about that all day. That wasn't, I had nothing to do with that. That is all out of my hands.
Divine timing. That's right.
And that's all it is. And so I feel humbled to be able to do this. I feel humbled to be able to talk to you, and because the information that we're providing really is golden when we're talking, when people want to learn about branding and how to make their contribution to the world even better.
I will there. Here's a heads up for those people who are the ones you described, who are thinking, I need to rebrand. I need a brand, or I need to rebrand. Often people's understanding of branding is from the way they hear it used in the world, which is a miscommunication. It's not something you slap on or somebody creates and puts on you and you have to become it. If you do branding right, and that's what we've been talking about here, it comes from inside you. It
Yes.
actually accesses your authenticity. And when you share it in the language you define for it, it's completely authentic to you. It feels like the most comfortable pair of shoes you'll ever wear. That's what branding done right. And it can come from your heart. It's not something you have to like, oh, I have to create this messaging hierarchy and practice it. The messaging hierarchy is a result of the steps, and it happens at the end, and it literally gives you ways to say things matter-of-factly that gives your brand credit for the things you must get credit for. But it's not trick, and it's not disingenuous. It's 100% congruent. That's branding done right. Know that that exists. No, you don't have to depend on somebody else's idea of what's a good brand for you. It starts in your heart. And if you want to know that process, I'm writing the book, Impact Driven Branding, 7 steps to ensure your brand impacts people's lives in the world, to hand the process, to hand the steps to people and say, look, follow the bouncing ball here. There's a form for each chapter. Use the form to do your work. Just do it. And realize if you leave out steps, it's just like building a bridge. You can't leave out steps or the bridge is going to fall down, you don't leave out steps in branding. But if people don't know that branding is steps, how do they know to not leave them out? So
they got to talk to you. That's how.
Well, it's not a trick. It's a
No,
gift.
it's a gift, and it's something that you've done for a long time.
Long time. When I'm
now.
talking to a $14 billion company CEO and all the people that report to him, and they think branding, because they're engineers and bean counters and attorneys, they think it's airy fairy baloney, and so is marketing. That because they're engineers and bean counters. Okay. And when I teach them, show them that branding, it's a process. And here's where they are, and here are the phases they get to go through, and here are the results. It's like how they built an oil pipeline through a jungle in 17 countries. Same thing.
Yes.
It's process management.
But you're giving them a schematic that they can understand, and they can.
They were blown away. They were like, "What? Branding it's a process." I mean, and so if that's you right now, good, yay! It's a process. It's just here's the language. Thank goodness it's just a process. There you go.
That's it.
Take the weight off your shoulders.
We're talking with Rich Kozak, and and go to richbrands.org. I would really like everybody to pay attention to this. This comes from Positive Talk, and this is heartfelt, and this is what we really mean. The strength of staying kind from your friends at Positive Talk Radio. Kindness is not weakness. It takes real strength to stay kind in a world that often rewards anger, ego, and control. Being kind means choosing to act from your values, not your wounds. It means showing grace even when no one's watching. But kindness doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean letting people take advantage of your time, your energy, or your peace. You can be kind and still say no. You have a soft heart with firm boundaries. The strongest people I know are the ones who choose compassion without losing themselves. They've been hurt. They've been tested. And still, they choose to love and lead and to lift others anyway. Kindness is not about pleasing everybody. It's about honoring who you are and how you treat others, even when it's hard. So stay kind, stay human, and stay strong. And always remember this: be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin McDonald, and Rich is here. Rich Kozak. What did you think, Rich?
That was beautiful. I love it. Kindness is it seems like it's an increasingly rare commodity, but it depends where you hang out. One of my new good friends is a world media changer. He owns the LA Tribune and several other news outlets. And he did a TEDx talk whose point was the media you choose to listen to shapes the world you see. Choose wisely.
And by the way, tell him, yes, indeed. Tell him thank you from me, because Positive Talk is on the LA News Tribune podcast page.
That's awesome.
All 1,180 some odd shows now.
Good.
And yeah, so tell him thank you for me that
I
he's
will.
doing the work that he's
and
doing.
That's I'm going to give him credit. That's Mo Rock, Moerock. He is a combination of a phenomenal businessman and a wonderful caring heart.
Which, by the way, I'm sad to say, is rare.
Yeah. But we can choose where we hang out. And surround the community that has grown through the work we do at RichBrands. And I will be very explicit. We do a half-day event every month. And I send an email out, hey, you know the drill, hop on for 10 or 20 minutes, say something, mention one thing about what you see in the work at RichBrands that really delighted you or surprised you. And I lift them up and they lift me up. I've had literally sometimes 17 people will hop on. It's a community. Mm-hmm. They've been through this with others. They understand the power of the transformation, but they're not changing themselves. It's like they're finding themselves. It's like they're finding their authenticity and being able to step into it like a comfortable suit. So, wow. And I get to hang out in that community and create it every time a new person comes in. It grows. Yeah.
And that is why you're here, young man.
Life is like it for all of us. We get to choose whether we're kind or whether we're helpful or whether we're, but he's not the guy I talked about before, but another one who's in his 80s, who has launched over 996 theater musicals where people had an idea for a musical, and he ran nonprofit workshops in Chicago and Los Angeles. And over 40 years, he literally helped collaborate writers and composers and lyricists to sharpen the dramatic musical moment that makes people cry or laugh, or things that happen at musicals. And he is one of those masters of people, and he lifts up the idea that, we get to mine our own creativity. We get to liberate it. And if we don't, we hold ourselves back. And so let it go,
Yes, let it go. And according to the gospel of Paul McCartney, let it be. And if you just let it be, and have a clear understanding of who you are and what you're after and stuff, and go talk to RichBrands, because Rich Kozak can help you figure out all of the intricacies of this, because in addition to your own thing, you've got all your people around you saying, oh no, you can't do that, you're not smart enough to do that, you're not tall enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not whatever it is. Understand that you are here for a reason. And that reason, it's important that you follow through with whatever that is. If you're an artist, if you are a musician, if you are a talk show host, if you are, but not too many of them, please. No, I'm kidding. If you're a talk, whatever it is, if it pleases you, Rich, let me give you an example. This is the third podcast I've done today. I've done 9 this week, 10 this week so far. I'm energized by by our conversation today. That's how I know that this is exactly where I should be and what I should be doing.
Yes, sir. It's a wonderful feeling.
It really is, and this conversation has been just dynamic, and I thank you so much.
Thank you.
For
You're very welcome. I feel the same way. So there are days when I start at 8 in the morning and don't end up till 9 at night. And I'm not moping saying like, man, I have to do this. I don't have to do this. I choose to do it and I get to do it. And it's a blessing to me and to everybody with whom I work. So look, as long as we get to do that and we know that our journey's prepared us for it, we get to bless other people with that feeling as well. So that's what your podcast is about. And that's what RichBrands is about. So you say go to richbrands.org. I do want to say this. It's not there yet, but it will be there. So keep going. I'm doing a 3-day summit at the end of this September 30th, October 1st, and October 2nd. I would love to have everybody there. I also do free 60-minute master classes twice a month, and I pack them with stuff that you can take home and do right away. One of them is do's and don'ts, where it's like, stop doing this because it's hurting you, and make sure you do these because you absolutely have it or your brand won't come alive. And I talk about things that normally you have to hire people and pay them a lot of money to learn these things, but I share them because there are doors. They're doorways into, that there's a place with straight talk you can trust and deep experience you can count on. In the world of branding, that seems so rare. Straight talk, it's jargon talk. It's buzzword talk. And then everybody else who's not in branding is in marketing. They just use the word branding to make you think they know what it is. And it's like, you don't really know what to think. That's why I spent 2 minutes to share with you how to think about what your brand is and what branding is, so that you are so clear. If anybody else tries to tell you about branding, you just say, hi, thanks for sharing.
And if you missed that, you replay this episode on YouTube, and it's right about 25 to 30, right in there. So, and that is, Rich Kozak. He's been doing this for longer than some of you have been alive.
Mm-hmm.
But he is still excited about work. He's excited about life. And tell me, what is your secret to being married for 49 years?
Oh, commitment. God lives here. We share faith. We share commitment to our happiness, to our family. Family is really important. We listen. We forgive when we use a word or anger or something happens. We ask for forgiveness and we forgive each other. We learn to leverage this wonderful relationship that we've been blessed with, and we both feel blessed, and then we leverage it to bless others. I will tell you how lucky I am, and I can't recreate this for you, but I ran a high-tech ad agency for 17 and a half years. And most of those evenings, I didn't get home on time. Some of those evenings, I didn't get home till the middle of the night. And some of them, as you saw in my video, I didn't get home at all. I got home in time. I'd leave at 3:16 in the morning because I knew I had to get home to shave, shower, put a new suit on, and get to that board meeting where I was presenting an hour and a half away by 9 o'clock to say, gentlemen, my name is Rich Kozak. I'm from Young Company, and I'm here to tell you the vision and what we have. You can, make first impressions on your next round of best fit clients in a different way that will hold them to you forever. It's like, literally, I didn't sleep. And so I've been, I've been through that. So during that period, my wife never doubted my fidelity. Wait a minute, a husband who doesn't come home, at night? That is one of the miracles of my life, my friend.
You don't look like a philanderer. You look like an honest dude that is straight up. So I gotta say,
I'm glad I don't look like one.
even the best. Anyway, Rich Kozak, thank you so much for being here. Go to richbrands.org. Find out all the information about him. Go there. And learn about branding, because it can make a difference. And by the way, live with passion. Life is too short. My mom died when she was 90. She played bridge on Wednesday. She went out to dinner on Thursday, was supposed to go to a party on Saturday, and she didn't make it to the party because she died on Friday. And you just never know when the good Lord is going to bring you home. And so live each day with passion and with gusto, because that's why we're here. Rich Kozak, thank you. Kozak, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin McDonald. It was an absolute pleasure. And I love what you do. Keep doing it. You're going to be a catalyst for a lot of people in their lives, and move them into action and get them off the island. Thank you, man.
Thank you. I have no choice. This is my mission. This is my gift. Thank you. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got.